Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad podcast with Chris Finn, a production of P4S Golf. Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. I'm your host, Chris Finn, and I am wanting to chat today about a topic that I think is probably one of the most helpful for the average amateur golfer or any golfer, really. And that is understanding what's normal or good or bad for your age, as well as for your speeds that you're at, right? Or wanting to be at. So I think one of the things when I started back, over a decade ago, what was big in instruction and fitness was, this comparison of, hey, this is how Tiger Woods swings, and this is what you look like. And you look at these different positions and there's a comparison, and look how his hip moves and yours doesn't. Right. And we're comparing like 65-year-old men to guys in the prime of their career. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's comparing apples to oranges. Right. And so I think one of the big pushes that has motivated me with P4S Golf and all the research that we do is to figure out, like, well, how do I get that 65-year-old guy actual data and numbers that I can, like, honestly look at comparisons of people that are his age group, his club head speed group, and say, hey, man, this is where you're doing really well. This is where you're ahead of the pack. This is where you're behind. And this is where we want to focus. Like, to me, I think where we started was looking just ages, right? Because that was the easiest one to get a lot of people in. And then as the database has grown, 10, 12,000 plus at this point, then being able to say, hey, look, not only are we going to look at, let's say the person is 65, but not only are we going to look at 60 to 70-year-olds, but we're also going to look within that 60 to 70-year-olds. Let's say the person's swinging 90 miles an hour. We're going to look at people swinging 85 to 95 miles an hour, right? So now it becomes not just age relative, but age and speed relative, right? And then we can look at it broader and we can say, well, let's look at everybody who swings 85 to 95. And this is a lot of the research we're doing. And is there differences between guys in their 60s who swing those speeds versus guys in their 70s versus guys in the 50s, right? And I think when you do that, and I know because I've seen it, when we do that, what we're able to give people is an actual actionable piece of information that we can then help them build their program and do the right stuff, so they're not wasting hours and hours and hours in the gym, which unfortunately is what we see a lot, where we look at lots of programs, and particularly a lot of like the do-it-yourself, the DIY programs. It's just these random workouts that are thrown at people that should generally work, right? There's some out there that are just like, now granted, if you're doing nothing, doing anything is going to help you, right? If a monkey got you to move, your golf game would improve because physically your body would feel better just because you're moving versus not moving, right? So to me, a lot of the programs that are out there are just monkeys getting you moving. They're just like, just get you moving. And if you weren't doing anything, now you just start doing something generally active, like naturally you're going to feel better. So that's not that hard to do. The problem is that there's a lot of movement that you're going to do that's really not like specific or helping you identify the actual core areas and issues that you have. And I think that's where you want to look at, this is, we have the home assessment that we have where it's free, where you can actually figure out, principally, and I always talk about principles versus priorities. So the principles for golf are that you have to have rotary mobility in the 4 rotary centers of the hips and the shoulders and the thoracic spine and the neck. You have to have the strength in your pushes and your pulls and your squats and your hinges to support speeds that you are or want to put up. You have to have the ability to, so strength is force production. You have to then produce that force quickly. And that's what gives you power metrics, particularly in your lower body, from a vertical force production standpoint, and your upper body from a chest pass perspective, or call it a push power perspective. Like, then you get to sport specific, right? Then you start layering on all these other levels of principles above that, but at the foundation is mobility, strength, and power in those specific areas, not just general power or general strength or general mobility. Like, I literally don't care if you can touch your toes for your golf game. Now, if we're training hinging, then I do care about your can you touch your toes and what your hinge pattern look like. But I think when we look at what a golfer needs, principally, that's not going to change. And I think a lot of the self-serve stuff out there hits all of that kind of in a mishmash way. There's not a organized plan for that for people. And so particularly if you're 65 and swinging 90 miles an hour, like you may be doing the same workout as somebody who's, you go to YouTube or wherever you go to get your curate your exercises. If it's not specific to your age and your speed and where you want to be and how you actually perform in those principal tasks, you're not going to have the right priorities for you. And so while I think a lot of the self-serve stuff that's out there hits, generally speaking, a lot of the different priority or a lot of the different principles, you're not getting the specific priorities that you need. And to me, that's where you waste a lot of time and effort, particularly that you could be spending on the golf course. Like, why are you going to waste time in the gym if you could be on the golf course? Like, golfers, we're not gym rats. Like, we go to the gym so that we can play golf. We don't go to the gym because we freaking love it, right? So let's minimize the time in the gym and just do what we need to do to get the minimum effective dosage. And let's go play some golf. Let's practice. Let's work on your short game. Let's do all those other things that are actually going to help your score. So yeah, I think probably one of the best pieces of advice I can give people, and it's free. We'll put the link in the notes here on the short today. Go check out the home assessment. It takes you 5 minutes. It's free. You're going to understand principally how you do in the mobility and in the strength power tests, right? You're going to understand based on your age. We ask you for your age. We'll give and your club head speed, and we'll kind of give you an idea of where you're at and where you need to be. And if you want to take it further, by all means, go ahead and do that. But I think that hopefully just doing that little bit gives you the opportunity to figure out, how do you compare to other golfers your age? How do you compare to other golfers swinging your speeds? How do you compare to the golfers swinging the speeds that you want to swing? And where do you need to focus? To me, if I can give like one gift to this world, it's that people start to truly understand, by assessing what matters, what they specifically need to do to help themselves accomplish their goals. And it's not just by doing a little sprinkling of every principle that's out there. Sure, that'll help the general public for a little bit, but you're going to get to a point eventually where you've probably done a lot of stuff. Maybe you get better across the board, but you're still going to have deficits in the main areas where you truly have focus, or where you should have been focusing. And the quickest way to versus a sprinkle versus target just fix mobility issues, target just fix strength issue. Like, you're going to accelerate well beyond where the sprinkling of just addressing some principles will eventually take you. So hopefully that helps give you a kind of, at least number one, you have a resource now. Go after that resource, use it as an initial test, use it as a retest. If you're doing a program or thinking of starting a program, literally use the assessment as like your jump off initial testing point, and then retest every couple of weeks. And are you actually getting better? Are you wasting your time, or are you actually seeing results? That's going to be the key that's going to help you accomplish longevity in the game, whether it's by increasing speed, decreasing injury risk, whatever it is, consistency, whatever is important to you. So hopefully that helps give you a little bit of an idea of where you can find how you compare to other golfers your age and your speed levels and skill levels, so that you can understand physically what you need to do. And hopefully you guys, just take that nugget. I hope everyone listening at least just goes and checks out that assessment so you can see for yourself where you're at. So as always, thanks for hanging out with me today, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode.